I guess we're gonna start with my man Adrien Broner. Take a time out, like the video, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm T Street Controversy with Fight View 360. We're going to be here on Tuesdays, Thursday, Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Saturdays, we'll be streaming during select main events, but of course, my post-fight videos are never going anywhere. So let's go check out and see what Adrien Broner's been doing. I see he's got access back to his Instagram, right? He had some issues with his Instagram before. But yeah, he's supposed to be coming back to take on Omar Figueroa. Remember, that fight was in the works several years back. Adrien Broner is now, how old is Broner now? He's about 32, right? He ain't no kid no more in boxing. Still a young man, obviously. 32 years old. Adrien Broner's going to be 33 on the 28th. Can you imagine that? Adrien Broner is 33 years old. Like, this is it for him. 34, 4-1 with 24 KOs. He's been somewhat disgruntled with PBC, doing interviews and social media posts about, not being able to get a fight or, money that's supposedly owed to him. He hasn't fought since he fought Giovanni Santiago. And a lot of people thought he lost that fight and he got a gift decision. He did an epic post-fight interview with media. Let me see if I can pull that up for you. Where basically, like, he went on like a funny ass rant. I mean, it wasn't a rant. It's just that thanks for the super chat. You. Straight drop. Salute to the general. 78 Sport. Oh, okay. Thank you. But yeah, he did this epic little interview right here. Here, let me play some of it. This was right after his last fight. For those who didn't see it, it was funny as hell. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe, and T Street Controversy with Fight View 360.
And I had to use my jab and get him to open up, and that's when I was able to counterpunch.
Excellent. So now we'll open it up to the media. The first question comes from Keith Idek of Boxing Scene.
Adrien, how long did it take you tonight? You hadn't fought in 2 years, obviously. How long did it take you to kind of get in a rhythm of some sort, and how many rounds?
Shit, once the bell ring, man, because now I can't fight just anybody. So they gonna keep bringing in another tough competitor. But as I always do, I'm gonna rise to the top. The cream always rise to the top.
Prograis is obviously a guy who's been calling for this fight for the last few months. What do you think of that fight potentially?
Prograis, man, like I always tell everybody, and I always tell everybody this. He keep yelling my name, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. When I was coming up, I was calling everybody out. He's only doing what he's supposed to do. But like I always tell him, just keep doing your thing. I wish him nothing but the best every time he fight. I hope he win. But like I said, man, if he get in the ring with me, I'm gonna fuck him up.
Do you think that's a realistic fight maybe next for you or not?
And no, remember, this was after his fight with Giovanni Santiago back in February of 2021. He's been out the ring for a long ass time, but he got a funny story. I'm trying to find it.
I'm in a mind state, the stay focused on boxing.
All right, here we go. I think this is it.
It's a fan-sided.
Hi, Adrien. Congratulations on your victory tonight. Kind of talking about where Keith left off. Ideally, how many fights do you think you would like to have in 2021?
2 more.
Why are you shaking up?
Say that again.
Why are you shaking up the Sprite?
Yeah, 3 if I can. Because if I don't, you got to think, bro. You got to think. Listen, bro, if they don't get me in the ring, I fuck around and be fighting some more cases, bro. I don't know. Trouble just find me somehow. The only way I stay out of trouble is if I'm training. If I'm training, man, I don't know why God got my life set up like this. I don't know. I just try to make the best of it, man. I do. And right now I'm in a mind state, the stay focused on boxing. And as long as I can do that, I'll stay out of trouble. So they just need to keep me fighting. I don't give a fuck if I fight next week. I just want to fight.
As far as you said, that focus on boxing and staying out of trouble, is it something that you feel that the love for boxing never left? Is it always been there, or did you kind of have to feel it tonight to get reinvigorated?
It never left. You got to think, man. I fell in love with boxing before I fell in love with a girl. So, my love for boxing will always be there, and I'll never get that feeling. Nothing can give me the satisfaction of boxing. So, it's always there. It's just I needed a break, and now I'm back. So, of course, I found out what it feel like to win another fight. So, I want to keep doing it.
I know that final question for me. I know that there's always going to be temptations. There's always going to be people talking, things of that nature. Do you think that it's going to be a struggle to stay away from some of the vices that kind of kept you away from where you want to be in boxing?
See, that's what I'm saying. I did it this camp. I did it. Listen, I'm gonna tell you three of my biggest vices. 1, gambling. 2, sex. And 3, women. And I say I'll put. You could put some together. I'll say one more. I'll say one more, huh? One more. Liquor. Yeah. I was drinking and partying a lot, and I stopped all 4. And I just focused on boxing, and it was tough. It was tough to go in the house and look at my beautiful wife every night and not kiss her or want to make love to her. It was tough, but I did it. And every time I came out the room, GT, I had him living with me. He would just keep it in my mind, like, hey man, don't be having no sex. And that was helping, but I had it on my mind anyway. I wasn't trying to go in the house and make love to that girl. I was focused on this fight, and I did it, man. And I think I can keep doing it, but I'm going home and make love to my wife, though.
Shout out to
More
GT.
power to you, Adrien, and it was nice to see you.
So this was after his last fight, and in February 2021. His next fight, for those who don't know, he's supposed to be fighting Omar Figueroa, August the 20th. That's the same day as Usyk versus Joshua 2. It's going to be taking place down in the Seminole Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida. And when you look at it, what is that, about a 19-month layoff? And then before that, he had a 2-year layoff. Let's go look at his resume. And let's just look at recent history. Okay. Now, 2018, one fight against Jesse Vargas. Manny Pacquiao and Al Heyman hooked him up. So he got the Manny Pacquiao fight. Then he went on another 2-year layoff. For Giovanni Santiago, okay, all right, you can factor in, it was COVID, lockdowns and everything. And now a 1.5 year layoff, where he's going to be coming back to fight his Achilles heel, a high volume pressure fighter, power puncher in Omar Figueroa, 28-2-1 with 19 KOs. Now, you got to give Adrien Broner some credit for taking this fight. Because, for those who have watched Adrien Broner over the years, even down when he got his very first gift decision over on ESPN Friday Night Fights against Fernando Quintero, go find this fight. Watch it when you get a chance. This was his first gift. He lost this fight. And how did he lose? He got outworked. He got outpunched. We really saw it on a global, promotional scale, like when he was over on HBO, that wait a minute, he got some issues with some pressure fighters. Daniel Ponce de Leon. We saw it there. It was like, oh, okay, this guy, at least I knew. I never fell for the cap of he gonna be the next Floyd Mayweather, he gonna be this and that and this and that. And I was watching these fights and I'm thinking like, yo, he gonna meet the wrong motherfucker and he gonna get his ass beat. So which one? I forgot who was the other one that was touching him up. It wasn't Eloy Perez or Escobedo. he got somebody else. One of these two was touching him up a little bit. I want to say that it was Perez. I don't remember. Either way, he went on this knockout stoppage streak over on HBO. But then what did we see? A pressure fighting, pillow fisted. Paulie Malignaggi was able to touch him up. Adrien Broner won that fight to me. But that right there, that put everything in the red for me, like, man. Excuse my sound effects. But it was like, yo, this dude ain't what he's saying he is and what these fans saying he is. So at this point in time, Marcos Maidana was hanging out and being trained by Robert Garcia. He was with Robert Garcia at that time, right? And Marcos Maidana was known to be an awkward, high volume pressure fighter. And once they announced that he was going to be fighting Marcos Maidana, kind of how I felt with that I knew that Usyk was going to beat Anthony Joshua, that I knew that Andy Ruiz was going to beat Anthony Joshua, that I knew that Dimitri Bivol was going to beat going to beat Canelo. I'm talking about where it was a favorite, and I was like, nah, you know what? The underdog going to win this joint. And what did we see? Marcos Maidana whooped his ass, even broke his jaw. Remember that whole fiasco, like where Adrien Broner didn't do the post-fight interview? And they held it for like a week or something like that. It was like a real big, thing. You never seen nothing like it before, where people were wondering, where's this post-fight interview? But yeah, his jaw was broken. He even admitted it. And I remember years ago on another channel, I was doing videos and I was talking about like, yo, Marcos Maidana broke his jaw. And it was like, you just being a coon. He ain't, his jaw ain't broken. But people were really on the Adrien Broner wagon. They were like, he was going to be like the man, like comparing him to Floyd and shit. And yeah, that is true. It's like Conor Broner does freeze with volume punching. And that's why this is a very, very dangerous fight for him. Then after Maidana went on to beat Carlos Molina, no, not that Molina, not the stat rapist Molina. Damn, I shouldn't have said that. YouTube don't like when you say that word. Anyway, Emmanuel Taylor, John Molina Jr., and then, of course, we already knew how the Sean Porter fight was going to go. And wasn't that supposed to be at a catch weight of 143 pounds? But then Broner wasn't going to make weight, so they renegotiated it or something like that. And it was already impressive that Sean Porter was going to get down in that weight anyway. And then, of course, I forgot how to pronounce that guy's name. And these were some more like filling out rough fights. Won that WBA regular title to become a 3-division champion. Ashley Theophane, Adrian Granados. Adrian Granados at that point in time, a lot of people going into that fight like, another pressure fighter, power puncher. And Adrien Broner struggled with him. Of course, a lot of people thought that he was going to get outboxed by Mikey Garcia, but that was a big payday for him and it sold. But he got outboxed, shelled up, didn't do nothing. And then another pressure fighter comes along, Jesse Vargas. As you can see, they fight to a majority draw. And then, of course, he gets beat up by Manny Pacquiao. And then in a comeback fight, remember, for those who don't remember, at one point in time, they wanted Adrien Broner to fight Michel Rivera. But he was like, nah, chose Giovanni Santiago. And a lot of people felt he lost that fight. So now, going up against Omar Figueroa, if Adrien Broner pulls this off, I'm going to say Adrien Broner back. But one thing that he's talked about in that interview there after that fight is that he's got vices. He only focuses on boxing when it's time for him to have a fight. And maybe if they kept him more active, but he already said himself in multiple interviews, he's not going to just not fight. He's not going to just fight for nothing. And he may be in a little bit of debt to PBC. We don't know. That's been a rumor. Just rumors going around. But I'm rooting for him to beat Omar Figueroa, but I don't think he's going to beat Omar Figueroa, bro. 28-2 with one draw. Abel Ramos, that was an upset. Dennis Ugas, we didn't think that Ugas was going to beat Figueroa that bad. He beat the shit out of Robert Guerrero. Notorious with hand injuries and hand issues throughout his career. But my issue is power or not, or hand issues. Like, I think he has enough to be able to outbox Adrien Broner. I mean, not outbox, outthrow, and outwork Adrien Broner, because that's how Adrien Broner loses. All you got to do is just outpunch him, outthrowing. Him. You know? So the undercard is supposed to feature Hector Garcia, who got that upset win over Chris Colbert, and he was a late replacement for Roger Gutierrez. So Gutierrez and Hector Garcia are supposed to be the co-feature, taking place down in Hollywood, Florida, at the Hard Rock Casino on August the 20th. So, you know, could it be Adrien Broner's last match at like mainstream, like big time level, headlining a card? Or, you know, if he loses, will he go on to being like a journeyman out there fighting for money? Because if he don't get past Omar Figueroa, what else can they really, really do for me? You know? But yeah, we're waiting for a third fight to be announced. I believe they said it's going to be Alberto Puello and Bakhtir Akhmadaliev. Is that how you say his name? The one who was supposed to had got the win over Mario Barrios. I believe it's going to be this, Alberto Puello and Bakhtir Akhmedov. So the card's going to be Bakhtir Akhmedov, Alberto Puello for that vacant WBA title, the one that Josh Taylor had to vacate because he can't travel. Then it's going to be Hector Garcia taking on Roger Gutierrez for that WBA title, the only one at 130 pounds right now, by the way. And then the main event is going to be Adrien Broner versus Omar Figueroa. And let me see, is Figueroa ranked anywhere? I'm guessing this fight's going to take place at 147. Where did Figueroa fight? 147. All right, so is Figueroa ranked? We know Broner's not ranked. Let's see if Figueroa's around somewhere. He lost his last two fights. Nope. So I'm guessing this is going to be also for some type of WBA ranking as well. You know, or a multiple sing body ranking. But overall, I think that's a solid card. You know, and especially when you look at the implications for the loser of the main event. And for Hector Garcia versus Roger Gutierrez, I would want Roger Gutierrez to win because at least we know we'll be able to get a unification possibly with Shakur Stevenson, because Roger Gutierrez is a Golden Boy fighter still, from my understanding.